All right, you're here. It's the QBIQ podcast. Chris Hickson here with obviously QBIQ, and we've got a great one today. Listen, there are guys out there in the nation. They're training guys. They're training talent. But I don't think there's another guy in the nation that from just a cool vibe, from knowing his sauce, how to make quarterbacks, there's another guy that just puts the whole thing together. It's social media king. I'm telling you, this guy, watch his videos. I know you already do. This guy trains the dudes. Not only that, he's got a cool camp and funnier than heck. And guess what? He's an actor. This guy, Sam Fisher, out of California, training quarterbacks from Throw to Win. Appreciate your time, brother. How you doing?
Hey, buddy. Thanks, man. That was a great intro. I feel like I should deliver like a monologue, like Conan O'Brien or something. But I'm good. I'm good.
Dude, some Conan O'Brien? Come on, man. That would be awesome. You do his ride along with him and the Ice Cube and everybody?
Yes. Yes.
So, all right. So I want to jump in, man, because, I mean, listen, one of the coolest stories that I've heard is a dude who, says, hey, I can do this. I'm going to go out to LA and I'm going to do one specific industry. And then all of a sudden you fall into another one. How did you start QB training? How did that all come together?
It was a decision that I made about 6 years into my failing acting career, where I was tired of working at restaurants. I was tired of bartending. I still love to perform. Obviously, I love to entertain, but it was hard. Like most actors will tell you, it's extremely difficult to get the ball rolling. Passion of mine had always been football and sports. I grew up being a shortstop and quarterback, and when I was out here, there weren't that many trainers. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. There were a few big ones, but not anywhere to where it was now. So I literally just came up with a name. I came up with a slogan, and I made a business card. I had 0 clients, and I met a woman that I was bartending. I was taking care of her at the restaurant at the time, and told her, hey, I'm thinking about starting to work with quarterbacks. And she said, hey, I've got a 13-year-old son who is just starting to start flag football, and we could use some training. And I had a card. I gave it to her. She called me, and I started out with one kid in a park down the street in Studio City, and that's where it all began, dude.
And his name's Jared Goff. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and now he's going to the Super Bowl.
Oh man, I mean it's just so. You'd be doing one thing, and all somebody has a need, and you find a fit, and all of a sudden you're doing your passion. Like I'm super passionate about it. I love working with kids and trying to get them not only to get better, but you and I were talking before the show how to be a mentor. I know it's a 360 step for you. It's not just training on the field, right? How do you approach your guys and kind of handle everything?
I think you just have to be you got to make sure those kids are comfortable. There's a lot of coaches out there that have a one vibe to their craft, and there's benefit to that. But for me and my style and how I operate, I have to get into someone's world, and they have to know what my world is. And once there's a connection there, I think the quarterback aspect can double up in skill and confidence, but just the relationship can blossom, which makes work fun. Like I can never go out and just train guys and not smile and not be funny or have a sense of humor and go home. Like that would be miserable to me. That's just me though. So my passion is to build relationships, make these kids feel comfortable. Everybody's so insecure already out here, and social media with these kids is extremely difficult to get through with all the pressure and insecurity. So I try to break all that crap down and just say, hey, man, we're real. I'm real. You're fearful of things. I'm fearful of things. Let's get better as a quarterback. Let's try to have fun and be humble doing it.
Yeah, man, I think since day one, not just your intelligence over training and skill level at that, but day one, like when you talk about relationship building or being able to feel comfortable with somebody, from day one, you were like that. And that's something I always appreciate whenever I meet somebody, especially in this realm, because, it's hit or miss, but I've always enjoyed that with you. And one thing, obviously, with that open door and red carpet type of relationship building that you have, brother, I turn on social media and all I see is boom, top talent, boom, top talent. It's nothing but just insane talent. How are you just the magnet for all these dudes in your videos on social media? Come on, man, give it to me. What's the secret?
I can't give you the recipe, man. The kids are the recipe. I don't do that. Listen. I have expectations of what I think a quarterback should look like as far as footwork and mechanics and hand speed and I try to set those perimeters. So when those guys are not hitting those expectations, I get real and I let them know, hey, this is what I think. This is where I think you can be. And I think everyone I train knows that I'm not going to let them get away with 75%. So what I post out there, what I give to the world is their best rep. I don't show all the bad reps that I film or show because I show those guys. I film it and I say, hey, terrible footwork. Hey, you dropped your shoulder. Hey, where are you looking at? Why are you looking at the safety when you should be looking at the corner? Like, I document my workouts, but I also make sure that, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure your best rep counts. And that's the rep that we want to live with from this point on. We know what it looks like. Let's stay on that course and double up. So that's why it's not exactly that all the dudes that I train are amazing. It's no, we need to get to a point where we can be our best rep all the time.
That is, anybody out there listening right now and you're just getting on here, I'm talking with Sam Fisher, big-time pro quarterback coach out in California, but really he's got tentacles all over the United States. This guy's training so much talent, and he's not giving us the total secret sauce, but he's giving his background wiring of how he expects a guy to operate, how he documents his practice. The guy is thorough. That's why I love working with him. He is a top guy. So if you guys are out there, this guy's phone call, you need to make that phone call to him, find his number and call him. Get on his roster. And speaking of the guys you train, there's a guy by the name of Darius that I know that we've been talking about for a little bit. And there's a possibility of him going to my alma mater, the University of Rhode Island.
The University of Rhode Island. Yeah, anchor down, baby. Well, what's the 3 more feet? 3 more feet. That's the Rhode Island motto, which I love. Like,
well, they call it a game of inches, but they're like, heck with just the inches, man. We'll do it in feet.
3 more
I don't
feet,
totally
dude.
know, but that's like the internal, like, motivational, heart gripping, I'm going to give more type thing. And I don't know the total story on it. But
I love it.
Darius gets in there and bleeds that 3 more feet.
Yes, and he is a ball player. Darius Prontis. He is a 2019 kid. He is probably, I don't want to ever say he's my favorite quarterback I trained, but when it comes to hand speed and hand talent, which I am very, that's kind of where I put a lot of my, I put a lot of my priority in hand, trusting your hands, and if you don't have anything else, if you have your hands, you have a chance. He is the top of the top when it comes to how talented his hands are, and I am so thrilled that Rhode Island, that's the only college right now that has given him that opportunity to play at that level. I think the dude should be offered everywhere, but I'm not a recruiting coordinator, and I don't know how that circus works, but I'm so thankful that Coach Fleming at Rhode Island has seen and evaluated, and he knows what he's looking at, and he sees what I see out of this kid. He's a special player. He's a beast on the field, and I think Rhode Island's going to end up being his home, and I couldn't be more happy. And I couldn't be more happy that guys like you and guys like Kevin Shirley that I know that lives out in Los Angeles are alumni from Rhode Island and are excited about Darius and want to make him feel welcome and keep your eyes on him. And I'm really, really thankful and blessed that he has that opportunity.
Well, I know Kevin and I are very excited about that opportunity as well. We've been messaging back and forth a couple times about Darius. Now, a funny story is that speaking of Darius and how, I've come to know him, I remember I was on a phone call with you. You called me up and you said, hey, man, you got anybody? I got a kid. His name's Darius. Check his film out. And so I flipped on the video while we were talking, and I started asking. I was like, oh, man, he's fluid. man, he can throw. He looks awesome. And I started asking you stats. What's his 40? How tall is he? What's his shuttle? And all these different stats. And I was thinking he mimics very closely to last year's quarterback for Rhode Island, who actually was just in the college combine game. What is that? The East West or whatever it is. It was out in L.A. But
Yeah.
he was the only Ram in the game this year. And so anyway, he mimics a lot of the characteristics he has. And while you and I are on the phone talking about Darius, I start texting the offensive coordinator for University of Rhode Island saying, I've got a kid for you. His name's Darius Perantes. And he tells me he was just at your house, or he was just at Darius's house the night before in California. How insane is that?
It's all meant to be, man. It's all meant to be. Fleming Fleming was great. Fleming went out there and just started running routes himself like a kid, and I could just tell that he was excited about the guy. And yeah, it's just been really cool how this inner circle seems to be getting even smaller. And like I said, I'm very thankful and blessed that he's getting that opportunity.
Yeah, Coach Will Fleming, the offense coordinator out at University of Rhode Island, he is extremely excited for this opportunity to get him on campus. I think he's coming, this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah, he's taking his visit, I believe, next weekend. So.
Okay, so that's going to be an awesome visit. Hopefully we get good news at the end of that visit. All right, well, so obviously you train talent. Obviously you're all over the United States. And I know this. How do I know this? Because I'll be training, and all of a sudden I see somebody in my training who has a TTW shirt in my practice, and what do? I take a picture of it and I text it to you. Dude, you're everywhere. And so speaking of everywhere, dude, how smart is it to go to Hawaii and start growing your business in Hawaii? Talk to me about that process.
How smart is it? I don't know if it's smart as it is just.
You're on the beach.
Like, I'm Chris. I gotta be real with you. I could lie and say that I go out there and I work and I drink Mai Tais and hang out at Waikiki. I haven't seen the beach one time since I've been to Hawaii.
You can't go 6 steps without seeing it. What are you talking about?
Dude, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what that inland football land is like. I mean, you feel the beach around you, but listen, Hawaii's gorgeous no matter where I'm at. I love it. But I've been there 3 years in a row now, and it's been so awesome to get to know the people, get to see the culture. But my wife has been pregnant like 2 out of 3 of those times, like 8 months pregnant. So I haven't been able to make this like basically, if she saw me taking a picture on the beach without her there, she wouldn't let me come home. So I go there to work and I come back and it's very, very awesome and fun, but it's a lot of work. Hopefully next year we can turn it into a vacation after our second daughter's born. But with the growing of Throw to Win out there, I'm very excited because I think there's so many kids that are in the 12 to 14-year-old range that are so freaking talented coming out of Oahu that there's going to be this wave of Hawaiian quarterbacks. And you're already starting to see that with Tua and Mariota and Tua's little brother. But there's about 20 more of these dudes that no one even know exist yet. And I get to see these guys in person, and I'm blown away because nobody works like the way Hawaiians work when it comes to football. They are on an entire different level. They are on a mission, and that's what makes me keep going back, is that I just love going out there and seeing these guys eat up football. So they're one of a kind out there, and I'm really excited for the future of the quarterback position from that area.
Well, speaking of one of a kind, I mean, they're getting an opportunity to have one of the top quarterback coaches in the country go out there and spend specific time with them. And so they want to lay it out there. But obviously they've been doing their work because they come and show you great talent. And what's exciting is I think as well that there's going to be a wave of quarterbacks coming over because once you get 1 or 2 guys that hit big, it just starts to become and it multiplies. So because everybody says, hey, there is a possibility. And all of a sudden the work effort goes up, the focus goes up, the goals start to connect. And so
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And you made a really good decision by going over there because I don't know what other, but with you out there, obviously these guys have a good eye on them to be able to say, okay, this is the way I got to get this done. Here's my gap. I got to close it by what coach is saying and get closer to my goals or technique wise what to do. And so, I mean, you do such a great job out there, helping those guys come along. Now, and speaking of that, you also have a camp, and it's the Throwdown. And listen, I've seen pictures on your social media of like a winner who won a camp, and it wasn't a trophy. He won a sword. He won a sword. What? Talk about what?
Yeah, dude. Listen, man. Everyone has a trophy in their closet. Who has a sword? Who has a blade that looks like it's right off of the Game of Thrones set? That's what I want. If I'm 16 and I win a competition, I don't want a trophy. I want a blade. So I just put myself.
That was no blade. That was Paul Bunyan's pocket knife.
It was the William Wallace Braveheart sword, bro.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. So, all right. So, how did you come up with that? And what do you have to do to win that?
Okay, so the throwdowns, the throw to win throwdowns, it's a point system. So we work on footwork, accuracy, arm strength, QBIQ, and it's every throw is graded. So at the end of the competition, we usually break it to the final 8, and then we do like a gauntlet where we have at times you got to hit your spots, like a 2-minute type of drill, and then from there we go to the final 2, and then we come up with I like kind of throwing a wrinkle in there, and all of a sudden just saying, hey, give me a 7-step delayed play action, big backside post, like things that they never work on, and then we just kind of break it down to the final throw. I want to see who can make it work. So the winner is segued through a point system. So even if you're the dude out there and you're off, you're not going to be the guy. I try to make it not political. We really want to grade you and have every coach that's watching their kid, they have a point system that we have created. And it's the winner. So for instance, when I did one in Northern California, I called it the King of the North. So because it was called King of the North, I gave him a big sword because in Game of Thrones, Jon Snow is the King of the North, and he's got a big sword, and I wanted to make it awesome like that. So in Hawaii, I called it King of the Island, and I found this amazing Polynesian battle axe made out of wood with tiger shark teeth as serrated blades, and I carved in King of the Island, and the winner got this 30-pound battle axe. So I want to keep it going. If I go out to Arizona or I go out to Atlanta with you, I call it King of the South. And maybe we got to find some kind of crazy weapon they use. I don't know, but I always try to make it creative with the area that they're from and give them just something fun and unique that's a little different than a plaque or a trophy.
Dude, that's so cool. Another connection point for you being creative and how you relate to these guys. You come on their level so well, and it's just, I'm telling you, man, when I get to watch you work and do your stuff, man, I always see connectivity, skill work enhancement, right on point movement. I mean, it's awesome to watch you work, Sam. And I appreciate your time anytime we get together. And obviously, this being the QBIQ podcast, and when we talk about QBIQ, all the times we've talked about it and how you integrate it in your system. Let's talk about a little bit about how the 1, 2s, and 3s. Like, why is it important? What are there any stories that stand out in your mind that a kid, like, it just light bulb hit off and he had a particular play where he's like, hey man, I saw it like this. It was just like Coach Fisher said about QBIQ. What's been your transition to QBIQ and your kids?
Yeah, I think that what you're doing is incredible. You've been behind it and have stayed true to what you believe in, and the product that you're putting out there has been, first off, right on as far as X's and O's, but it's simplified. And if you know anything about me, like I'm talking, I try to keep it simple. And QBIQ, I think, does a great job of balancing the basics, but also gets you into the details. So when I bring it to a kid, I usually try to get a kid involved with QBIQ around 11 10, 11, 12 years old, because it's right around that time where they can start really digesting, okay, corners playing this type of leverage. The safeties are, they squatting, they backpedal, like all the little details that you can really start picking on at that age can really separate you. And the older you get, you start building that IQ platform, it just starts becoming, like you said, like those flashcards, just bang, 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 bang. You start seeing it, you start recognizing it quicker. So it's a very great and it's a powerful but simple system that you've done an excellent job with. My guys love it. They are, I've got a few guys that always have flashcards on them. I got guys that have books in their bag. And it's just been one of those things where I can say, hey, tell me about a cover two. And they can break it down from what I'm telling them, but also from what they're seeing on the book or from what they're seeing on the DVD. And it's just been a really cohesive way of learning, man. And we're visual learners as quarterbacks. We can't just hear it and always know what we're thinking. We have to be able to see it and being able to have that visual, that hard copy of how you do it is such a smart way of learning, and these kids really soak it up, man. So it's been awesome. I love how it's growing. I love the way that you're pushing it and how you really stand behind it. And I just think, you're just getting the ball rolling on this thing, man. I think it's going to, get down the road even farther. So I appreciate what you're doing, man, and it's helping a lot of my dudes.
Yeah, man, can't tell you how much I appreciate teaming up with you on it as well. Also, another guy who's coming to the team more so than that, I mean, he's a significant or a major partner in it, is Trent Dilfer, which we're going to be announcing that shortly. Maybe a little bit of announcement just now, I just said. But we just actually finished up, we got the paperwork last week, and we're rolling through that and talking about all our deliverables and strategic rollout. And it's going to be very exciting next 30 to 60 days of how we launch this sucker and the new rebranding.
That's awesome, man. I'm very happy for you, man. And you've definitely put that out on your own work, and you're like you said, you're passionate about what you believe in, and from your own experience, and it shows, man. So it makes sense that this thing's launching even to higher stratosphere.
Appreciate you, Sam. Listen, for everybody out there, we have been talking to Sam Fisher, big-time quarterback coach here in the United States, who knows, probably global here shortly. This he's got not only training sessions, but he's got the throwdown camp. Get connected with this guy because he does so much of not just teaching you stuff, but teaching you how to be a man, teaching and getting on your level and being able to be playful. By the way, if you haven't seen some of his acting videos, look those up because they are hilarious. But the bottom line is, more than anything, he's a tremendous dude, a father, a great husband, and a great quarterback coach. This guy's the man. Guys, reach out to him at throwtowin.com. And, hey, Sam, I appreciate you stopping by, brother, for the podcast.
Anytime, Chris. I appreciate you, man, for real.
All right, man. Hey, check us out next time on the podcast every week on Mondays. You can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on our website, social media, everywhere. Guys, it's been the QBIQ podcast with Coach Sam Fisher. We will check you out next time.